I was not expecting that. Produced 64% fewer output tokens. Build me an interactive e-commerce outdoor gear store where customers build their whole kit piece by piece. So I'm getting Claude Code and Codex CLI to build me the same website at the same time, but I'm only giving myself 5 prompts for each agent. So let's see how they compare. And side note, it did not go how I expected. All right, so I'm using Opus 4.8 on Claude, and I've got my Claude terminal set up here in Cursor, and this is the rest of the prompt here. Basically, I want to build a website where if you want to do like a new outdoor activity, like hiking or ski touring or mountain biking, then you can go onto this website and it will tell you all the different pieces of gear that you need, so you have a whole kit. But like, I want it to be really interactive. So we'll see how far these different agents can take it. So for this first prompt, I'm saying set up the project so it runs, use Express and SQLite on the back end with a database created, seated on boot with a realistic mountain gear catalog across these activities, and use React on the front end, and really want it to look like elegant and sophisticated. Ooh, okay, this is really cool. I'm liking it so far. So we've got our 3 main activities that we start with. Let's go for hiking, and let's see. So we can select, you've got your hiking boots, backpack, you can choose what you want. You can see the different items there. And we're going through, it's saying kit incomplete, you still need a shell jacket. Oh, and I really like that as well. At the top there, you can see like on your back how much you're going to be carrying at the moment, which is really, really cool. Okay, so this is really nice. Let's go and see what Codex did. All right, also really nice. Didn't have that front like introductory page, but this one we've got a few different photos and things to add a bit more like visual aesthetic to it. So that's cool. Okay, so far so good. Next, I want to kind of add a bit more logic to it because I want this website to really help you out if you're new to an activity. So I wanted to say if a piece of kit actually works with the other pieces you've chosen, or sort of let you know if there's any warnings or things you should be aware of. So let's put in these prompts. Okay, so this is the Claude one. We go in, choose hiking. Okay, so this is interesting. We can see here that it said if you're getting this pack, you're doing a multi-day hike, so you should probably have an insulating layer in your kit because the mountain nights get cold. Great point. And then now for the Codex one, so same page, let's add a couple of items. So we can see that there's all the blocking issues like essentials and things that you still need, but it looks like there doesn't seem to be like logic that's going to help you out. So for the third prompt, I really wanted to make this website more interactive so someone can really make sure that they've got all the right gear. Okay, so we can see there's a little bit more animation on the left-hand side when you add items there, which is great. But actually what I'm really thinking is I want some sort of visual of a person, and as you add each item, each piece of gear, that item gets added to the person so you can really see where each item goes. All right, so I'm going to add a new prompt here. So I want to improve the visual flow. So when the user selects the items, I want there to be a box in the middle and it shows each piece of equipment being added to the person in the middle. Okay, moment of truth. Let's see if it picked up on my idea. So we'll choose hiking. Okay, so this is a little bit more what I was thinking. So we can see here that as you add each item, it gets added to this person and the area of the body. So like the hiking boots are down at the bottom. Very basic stick figure, but starting to get at the idea I wanted. Okay, so let's do the same prompts for Codex. I'm gonna paste that in. Oh my God, okay. I don't think it's loading. That's weird. Let's double check that. I'm just gonna refresh. Weird. Okay, I did not expect that. So it looks like I'm gonna have to use out one of my prompts for Codex to fix this issue. So nothing is loading on the screen. Can you fix it? Oh my gosh, it's still not working. Not working. I refreshed and tried on different browsers. Let's see if it fixes it. All right, so we figured out what the issue was. It seemed that the bug was a type error. Basically, Codex imported an icon called map, and then that overwrote JavaScript's built-in map function. So when its own code tried to use the real one, the whole app crashed. That's put Codex way on the back foot with this 5-prompt experiment. All right, so this is the final state for Codex. We couldn't get to the point of making it more interactive like with the Claude build or adding any sort of checkout functionality. And this is the final state for the Claude build. So we've got the whole visual interactive part to it, and we can also check out when we want to as well. So overall, pretty good. Claude split the front end into these different tidy components here, whereas Codex put the entire UI into one massive file. So even though that didn't cause the bug, it also would make future bugs really hard to find. So maybe that would have contributed to why it took 2 prompts to find that bug and fix it. So overall, I'm giving Codex a 3 out of 5 and Claude a 4.5 out of 5. But that's kind of just on my vibe. But now let's go have a look at the actual telemetry analysis. Okay, so I moved over to Codex now, where all my telemetry data from Claude and Codex is being sent to via Open Telemetry. So now I can see everything like the tokens I use, the total cost, the cache hit rate, like all the tools and everything. It's all data that you can now investigate, which is really cool. And we can see an overview of like the models I use, the sessions, average session cost and things. So total cost, there was 2 sessions in this time windows, but we're going to go and dive deeper into this specific session. Oh, and this is really interesting as well. The cache hit rate was 98.11%. So really high, and that's great because cache writes are much more expensive than cache reads. So you want to keep that high and to show that it's working more effectively. If it had dropped quite a lot, it might mean that for some reason the cache has had to be invalidated, and a lot of items, especially earlier on in the context window, have had to be rewritten for some reason. So that would drop the cache hit rate a lot, and especially if you're rewriting those tokens right earlier in the context window, that's going to be really expensive to rewrite quite a lot. And then we can see my cost over time. So this is just me, but I think this would be super interesting if I put this together with like a whole team of engineers and you could see the cost over time. Okay, so we can dive into a specific session here. So the cost is $16.60 and 19.35 million tokens. And then we can come down to tokens over time and see how that tracked and how those tokens are being used. So we got quite a big spike near the end there as well. So maybe that was those more heavier prompts that I did, really focusing on improving the front end and like making a lot of changes to the current existing code. So a big refactor. Let's head over to Codex and we can get a similar overview, like the models I used, GPT 5.5. We've got a breakdown of my input tokens and output tokens. So 6.41 million, 67.61 thousand output tokens. So that's really interesting because that's quite a few fewer tokens than the Claude build. But of course we had to diverge the types of prompts. What's really cool is we can see the tokens over time here as well, but you can see a breakdown of the types of tokens. All right, so the final thing I wanted to do was actually use the Codex CLI to give me like a side-by-side comparison of the key stats so I can look at them and really understand what went on. So I can see here that for the output tokens for the Claude build was about 174,000 and the Codex CLI using GPT 5.5 was about 71,000. So of course there was the difference because I had to change the prompts that I used with Codex to fix the bug. So prompts 4 and 5 for Codex went to recovery. It was about 18,300 output tokens. But if we compare the prompts that they both did that were exactly the same, so 1 to 3, Codex actually produced 64% fewer output tokens than Claude did. I also got it to run an estimate on if we did get to do those final 2 prompts for the Codex build instead of having to fix the bug. But what we can estimate from that is that if there was no bug in the Codex build, the complete build would have been around 90,000 output tokens, which is literally just over half of Claude's 174,000 output tokens. So it seems that using Codex with GPT 5.5 is a leaner agent than Claude using Opus 4.8, but Codex using GPT 5.5 just didn't buy the features that we wanted to build this time. So what do you think? I preferred the output of using Opus 4.8 on Claude, but using Codex CLI with GPT 5.5, it was much more efficient with tokens. Comment below and don't forget to subscribe so that you can see how we actually analyze the differences between coding agents and how effective or productive they are by using real telemetry data.